What is going on, everybody? I am back with another Prize Picks MLB player props video. This one going to be breaking it down, sharing with you guys the first 6 pick flex that I did place today. Going to be breaking down the process that goes into all of my picks, the same process that went into these 6 picks last night. Cashing in 646, the 400 into 10,000 for myself, and a ton of different winners over in the VIP that I'll be giving a shout out shortly. We finally got him, bro. We finally got him. The 2 nights before we got hooked, man. The hit rate's been fantastic in MLB. If you're someone that's new to MLB, you're looking for someone to tail that's really knowledgeable, you've come to the right spot. This was the night before the Ryan Pepiot. He was on pace early, dominating, and then the Red Sox just got to him and got taken out of the game. That stunk. And then the night prior, I actually released a video for this same 6-pick flex. Clark Schmidt just made one too many bad pitches. We got hooked again on that, but we've been so close. 3 nights, 2 nights, finally 3 nights in a row. The third night, we got him for the full 6-pick flex. So good that baseball is back. If you're someone that's new, make sure you're tuning into this free content. I'm going to try to help you out as much as I can. If you're really looking to step up your game, you're playing every single night though, guys. Go ahead and purchase the VIP package as soon as you can. It's $1.66 a day. I'm going to show you some members right now that are in the VIP that are paying the same price tag for a month. And I'm going to show you what they made in one night, man. Because it really is one night. Those sweeps add up quick. And it was ridiculous. I love to see this. Like, this is what it's all about. Dre Day had a huge night. 140 into 3,500 on this ticket. Next one, 60 into 1,500. Next one, 60 into 600. And the next one, he turned 64.73 into $647.30. These are all part of that ticket. That was a 5-star rating ticket, so it's my best of the best props. When my members see that, they know I'm really high on them. 10 into 250 for Riddick's last night. We had Quais turning 100 into 2,500. I mean, think about it. You're paying for like an entire year's membership in a night, guys, which is the goal, man. That's fantastic to see. Twan says, glad it came back, took a few months off, returned and cashed in right away. Love to see that. We had Eros 50 into 1250 for this one. R. Sasser 15 into 375. This is that same ticket that I already pulled up for you guys in my actual account that I placed myself. Ricky 24, 10 into 250. Ed the Fred 100 into 2,500. Once again, that's a massive payout, man. Return on investment, that $100 into 2,500. The same for every one of these tickets, but you get the point. 10 into 250, massive return on investment. Great cash there for Kenshiro Pao. Says, thank you. I broke 1K balance on PP today after 5 months of placing $5 unit bets starting out with $100. That is awesome. I know for a fact he was someone that kind of joined learning, didn't quite know everything that he knows now as far as all these props apps and the stuff that goes into it, all of these different resources I have in there, and myself, I'm constantly teaching. That's what it's about, man. He's starting out small with that $5. That 5 is going to turn into 10, then 20, then 30, then 40, then 50, and so on. It's about the process at first, and then the money's going to come after. So, Imula 20, 76 into 519. We had Justin here with the 254.75 win. Another one, $600.10. That accounts all the way up to $1,400 and something dollars. I can see he's doing very well. 3 Lee, 13 into 325, 5 into 125, 6 into 150, and the list goes on, guys. I'd love to give every single person in here a shout out. Ghost Crowley, 5 into 125. But you get the point, man. It's not just myself. It's the members winning. That is what I do this for. 25 into 625, and then 25 into 625 again here for T-Money. Shout out to every single one of the winners over there in the winner circle. Once again, if you haven't signed up, get it right now. It'll be linked below in the description. It's on Patreon. You can just search KJKDFS VIP member package. I'll pop up all over the place. I made it as affordable as possible while getting compensated for all of the work that I put into it. All right, guys, there's a ton of different value in there. My goal has been to create a package that compensates me for my time, but gives way more in return to my members, and I think I've done a fantastic job of it. If you hop in the Discord and you ask the members that are in there, there's plenty of members that have been there for months on months on months on end, and they are not leaving because they're making more than what they're paying, which is the goal. So I'd love to have you join that group. Without further ado, let's talk about the very first 6-pick flex that I did lock in myself, that I did send over to the VIP this morning. This is it right here. It's going to be a 2-unit play. However, there was a bump, so maybe just run the 5-pick. As we get into the breakdown, you're going to see Seth Lugo was bumped prior to me hitting this record button, I know. So hopefully no other bumps have taken place. But if they have, man, I'm giving you as many free picks as I can for these first picks that I've locked in here today. So let's get into the breakdown. Make sure you listen closely. You're going to kind of get a preview as to all that goes into the process of every single one of my picks that I place every single day. These free videos are going to be a great way for you to get a little bit of a introductory to myself, my process, my knowledge, give you a little taste of everything that goes into it, give you some free value, and then once again, like I said, the paid option is another option. So let's crush these picks today. Let's get into the free breakdown. Let's talk about Marcell Ozuna first. He's popping as one of the best possible plays on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, and I tend to agree with them. Baseball is a sport we can go really deep into analytics, and I know a ton about. So I like to see as many data points as I can pointing to a prop for me to take it. And the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer is a tool that I use frequently. For those of you that are new to the channel and might not have heard of it, you need to check them out ASAP. If you're someone that's doing your own research every single day, this is going to be one of the greatest tools you can invest in. They're going to pull in millions of dollars of sportsbook data for you daily and streamline it to these platforms such as a PrizePicks and give you the best possible props. There's millions of dollars invested in the lines. They're going to tell you which props PrizePicks is mispricing, which ones they're messing up on and you need to capitalize on. And Marcell Ozuna is on their list today. And like I said, after doing my deep dive and factoring in this data, totally agree. KJK DFS is going to get 25% off this tool. Take advantage of that as soon as you can. And let's talk about the deeper details here of exactly why I do like Marcell Ozuna. He gets to take on the likes of Bailey Falter. Bailey Falter is terrible, most notably against right-handed hitting, and Marcell Ozuna absolutely rakes. He's going to be on the road in the 3 spot in a Braves lineup that's expected to put up a total of 5 or more runs, a 5.29 implied run total. 82 degrees, nice warm weather for those of you that are new to baseball. The warmer the weather, the further and easier the ball is going to carry, so that's good for us. They're on the road, guaranteed top of the 9th inning at bats. You'll hear me say that 1,000 times because anytime you can get someone on the road, it's very good. And we break down the underlying metrics for Bailey Falter. He is terrible, most notably versus right-handed hitting. Really bad. Guy only has a 14.3% K rate. And over the last 30 days, he's giving up a 231 ISO, a 349 WOBA. He's only getting a ground ball 34% of the time. These are all very, very bad things against right-handed hitting. And Marcell Ozuna crushes lefties. 262 ISO, 470 WOBA, only 19.6% K rate. So, I mean, you get the point. This is a fantastic spot. This is a guy that has a 431 WOBA and a 297 ISO on the year. We're looking at all the way up to 571, 607 over, I believe those are the lifetime section, but regardless, guy rakes lefties. It's going to be a great spot. He's in an offense in a 3 spot that's expected to put up runs. So more runners on base, more opportunity to knock some runners in, RBIs, all that fun stuff for pick number 1. And then lastly, the 7.5 line is just very friendly. We like to see that because I've been playing the PrizePicks board for quite some time now for MLB, and the difference between 7.5 and 8.0 and 8.5 or 9.0 and 9.5 is a big difference. Marcell Ozuna doesn't have a ton of stolen base upside, which is something you'll also hear me talk about. So I like to target the guys with no stolen base upside in a good spot, possibly if we can at all possible get that 7.5 line or 6.5. We're sitting pretty with the no stolen bases. So Ozuna's the first guy that we like here today. For pick number 1. Second guy I locked in is going to be Seth Lugo. Unfortunately, it does look like this is the pick that got bumped literally right as I went to hit the record button. It didn't get bumped too long after I did lock it in, but this guy, we can break it down. I don't know that I really have a pivot for you guys. I'd recommend not playing bumps if you're someone that's just going to go ahead and play the bump anyways. I can't really stop you. I just tell you my advice. But why I like this play, you might as well break it down for you guys anyways. Lugo. First of all, the market started really ripping towards his over here not too long ago. If we go ahead and we pull up the OddsJam Sportsbook screen, another tool that you will hear me talk about frequently, very helpful for analyzing the entire market and seeing what's going on. Once again, KJK DFS will be a nice discount on this tool. 134 on the over on Pinnacle on his over, 138 on the over on FanDuel, 140 on the over on DraftKings. He's all the way up to minus 148 on the over on Caesars, 150 on Bally Bet. So for those of you that are not familiar with sports betting lines, to make this simple, like essentially if you were to on DraftKings, you would have to risk $140 to win $100. On Prize Picks at a 5 or 6 pick flex, we're getting minus 119 implied odds. So we're pretty much like behind the wall that you can't see because we're just getting 25x. You're paying minus 119 on every pick that you lock into a 5 or 6 pick flex on Prize Picks is how that math all kind of sugars out there. We're getting a really good deal on this prop at the 5.5 line. Unfortunately, it did get bumped, but that's, step number one to the process here. And then step number two is K rate has just been through the roof as of late. The underlying, I like to call the Vegas data kind of, the body of the car. And then if we kind of take a look under the hood at the advanced metrics, if everything matches up, then I'm going to get really excited here. So everything certainly does match up in this spot. He's taken on a Tampa squad that over the last 30 days has been striking out a lot more frequently. So that's obviously going to help us. We want to be looking at the matchup. And his K rate has skyrocketed over the last 30 days. A 56 at-bat sample size. He's getting those lefties at a 37.5% clip and a 31.1% clip to right-handed bats. Anytime you're up over a 30% K rate as a pitcher, that is elite stuff. He was only at a 22% K rate on the season over 127 at-bat sample size and a 22.9% versus those lefties. So he's up over 30% to both sides of the plate, over 56 at-bat sample size to lefties, a 74 over the last 30 days. So his K stuff, he's clearly found it. His pitch mix has been all over the place. And then you look at the strikeouts for these Rays over the last 30 days. It's up over 30% for Rosarina, 30% for Lowe, 27% Caballero, 28%, 33% Siri. So the matchup's fantastic, and you look at his underlying metrics, he's starting to strike guys out a lot more. And you can look at a larger sample size of the current season. These guys are all still striking out a ton, right? So it makes a ton of sense. It's all factored into the Vegas data as well, but I like to have props where both my advanced metrics are agreeing and the Vegas data is agreeing. I want as many different things telling me, take this prop. Does that make sense? So we're fact checking it on the Vegas odds. We're fact checking it on the underlying metrics for baseball. There's a ton of different data points to be looking at, which makes it very fun for me as a sports bettor and or player props bets, because we can get real detailed and really find the best of the best. So Lugo, he got bumped. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I can't control the bumps, but that's the breakdown for that prop. I gotta at least explain what's going through my mind here. Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman. We got a nice little two-man stack of the LA Dodgers for our next two picks here. And this is going to be a ridiculously good spot for the LA Dodgers. Number one, they're going to get a big ballpark upgrade. They're going into Cincinnati. They're on the road, which means what for people that are listening? They get to hit in the ninth inning no matter what, which is great. More opportunity. Maybe they need one more hit to go over. And if they were at home and they were leading, they don't hit in the bottom of the ninth. But since they're on the road, they're going to hit in the top of the ninth. Ballpark upgrade. LA Dodgers Stadium compared to Cincinnati, big difference here. Cincinnati, I like to call it the Great American Small Park. It's one of the best hitting environments in baseball. I'll go ahead and pull up the exact specifications here as far as how this ballpark plays. You can see Great American Ballpark. Triples, doubles, home runs, all friendly. Like I said, they call it the Great American Small Park for a reason. It's only 328 down that left field line, 325 down the right field line, 404 out the center. But for those pull-heavy lefties, such as a Shohei Ohtani, such as a Freddie Freeman, if you want to pull the ball down that right field line, you're going to have a pretty good chance of being able to hit it out of there. We know both these hitters can go both ways. Ohtani and Freeman, they're so good, which is another factor. We want to be targeting lineups with good hitters throughout so that we're getting a lot of at-bats, right? So Mookie, Ohtani, Freeman, let's say they come up and have a little bit of an iffy first at-bat. If the bottom of the lineup's able to get some hits, get some guys on base, get things going, more opportunity for the top of the lineup. So that's a nice little thing. We always want to be factored in 5.24 implied total, and we break down the underlying metrics for Graham Ashcraft. Like, why is this a good matchup for Ohtani and Freeman? Well, Ashcraft has been much less effective versus left-handed hitting for quite some time now in his career. This year hasn't changed. We're looking at only a 17.1% K rate versus lefties. He's given up a 198 ISO and a 370 WOBA. So big difference between that 0.092 ISO and 2.82 or 0.282 WOBA to the right-handed bats. Been much less effective versus lefties. And Ohtani and Freeman are raking this year versus right-handed pitching. These are ridiculously good numbers, guys. 378 ISO, 508 WOBA, only an 18% K rate for Ohtani. 228 ISO, 430 WOBA, only a 17.4% K rate for Freddie Freeman. And these guys have stolen base upside, so they're the full package when we're talking about fantasy score. If we look at the top stolen base guys in the entire league, Shohei Ohtani comes in 7th in the entire MLB with 13 stolen bases. Freddie Freeman hasn't quite got it going this year in the stolen base category. However, he's a first baseman. You're not typically seeing a lot of stolen bases out of first baseman. He's only got one on this year, but if we go ahead and look at last year's numbers, he was a pretty effective stolen base guy. So he's got the upside. 23 stolen bases on the season. He led every single person on the Dodgers last year. More than Mookie Betts, more than James Outman, more than Chris Taylor. So he's got some wheels. Hasn't quite displayed them yet, but could be seeing some stolen bases out of him any day now. That's all factored into the research in the back end. Stolen bases can really help you in this PrizePicks fantasy scoring format. You want to be targeting guys with stolen base upside as well, if at all possible. This 7.5 line on Freeman just seems criminal. I mean, that should be up to 8.0 by the end of the day, I would think. PrizePicks fantasy scoring format, we'll break it down for you guys. 3 points for every one of those singles, 5 for every double, 8 for every triple, 10 for every home run, and you get the 5 for those stolen bases. So like I said, if a guy can steal bases, it's a big deal. If Freddie Freeman gets a single, that's going to be 3. Steal second base, 5. He's already up to 8 fantasy points. He already surpassed that line. Same for Ohtani, especially being that he's priced a little bit higher at the 9.0. We will certainly take advantage of any stolen base upside we can get. So those are the next 2 guys in that slip. Christian Scott's a guy the market's not quite as high on right here that I disagree with. I think we could see the market shift. If we take a look at the strikeout props across the industry, across all these sports books, once again, this OddsJam Sportsbook screen's a beauty for that, guys. So take advantage of this tool if you haven't already. For someone that's doing this research every day, it's going to come in handy for you. We're looking at pretty much even money across the market. There's like slight juice on its under at -120 here on BetMGM. It's pretty much even across the board, man. Like, not really a ton of heavy juice coming in on his under and or over. He's up to -130 on the over on flip, but they're also charging -125 on the over, so they're just charging more juice on both sides of the prop here. I think we could see this juice shift up and end up being pretty heavily favored on his over by the end of the day. Christian Scott's a guy that's one of the top prospects in the Mets organization, one of the top prospects in baseball. He's displayed that K stuff early on. Last time against Miami, he didn't quite get the job done, had a little bit of a rough outing. But I would anticipate this guy to really excel in this matchup, man. The data doesn't quite, I don't quite understand why it's like even money at the 5.5 strikeouts. But like I said, if we're able to take advantage early before Vegas shifts, which I think we might be able to in this spot, it could be a beauty. Giants are striking out a ton, man. I mean, outside of the top of the lineup, Mateau's only 3%, Wade only 18%, and Estrada only 12% over the last 30 days. On the season, Wade's actually up to 23. But once you get past these top 3, it's strikeouts galore. I mean, it's 26% for Chapman, 26% for Bailey, 22% for Soler, Ramos 32, 33, 25. And Christian Scott, like I said, shown some pretty good strikeout ability. 20% to those lefties, 26% to righties. It's not like anything crazy, but you give me a guy that's going to go out there and throw a decent amount of pitches at that kind of a K rate against an offense that's striking out this much. I feel really good about him getting 6 or more strikeouts. I have multiple models telling me he's going to get 6 or more. Same thing with Seth Lugo. Seems like a good buy low spot. I don't think this is going to be a guy that's going to be priced at 5.5 in this league for very long. And then I do like to look at pitch count and all that stuff. We want a guy to be able to go as deep into the ballgame as possible. I've got a bunch of different projection models for pitch count as well. And on Christian Scott, we're looking at right around 93 pitches. Okay, so he's going to get up over 90 pitches. That's great. Seth Lugo, I didn't bring that up for him. He's looking more around 99 pitches for me. So both guys expected to go out there and throw 90 or more pitches. That's also factored in. We certainly do want there to be as many pitches thrown by the pitcher that we're targeting as possible. When we're targeting over, obviously, we don't want him to get pulled at like 70 pitches. That's not fun for us. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the final pick, the last pick, is going to be JT Realmuto, who gets to go into another hitter's paradise. We talked about Cincinnati. This is quite literally the best hitting environment in baseball. For those of you that are new, it's the Colorado Rockies Stadium in Colorado. And it's a combination of two things here. One, the Rockies pitching staff stinks. Not only the starter tonight, Ty Blatch, but also the bullpen. 2 Phillies on the road, as I've discussed throughout this video. Top of the 9th inning at bats, fantastic. And then 6.35 implied run total. 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to straightaway center, essentially left center field. It's a great spot. This is another prop that the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer is liking. So it's popping on DGF. It's popping on all the underlying analytics for me as well. And we'll break down exactly why I like it in more detail. DraftKings is saying he's going to go out there and get 10 fantasy points, but MGM saying he's going to go out there and get 9.8. So, an entire fantasy point over is a pretty big deal when it comes to these props apps. So DGF all over this prop. I agree with them once again. Got one data point telling me. Then we're going to look at a lot more data points here shortly. Realmuto is a guy that smashes left-handed pitching. I was on him last night in that sweep, as you saw at the beginning of the video, in a very similar spot. He was taking on a guy named Andrew Heaney, who's a left-hander that gives up a ton of hard contact for the Texas Rangers. This is almost like an identical spot. JT Realmuto is going to get a bump up in the lineup. There is no Trey Turner right now, so he's been hitting in that 2 spot, which is fantastic. Obviously, the more towards the top of the lineup the guy hits, the more opportunities he's most likely to see. And this is a very similar spot. Ty Blatch is terrible. JT rakes. So let's take a look under the hood here. He's another guy with some stolen base upside, similar to, once again, catchers and first basemen are typically not guys that are going to steal a lot of bases. JT Realmuto, Freddie Freeman are 2 of the guys that are a bit of an exception to that rule. They're not going to do it a ton, but there's a chance, which is always factored in for me. If he gets a stolen base, it's a big deal, those 5 fantasy points, so I want to mention that. We'll bring that up shortly. But Colorado, man. Coors Field, like I said, this is hitter's paradise. Like literally the best hitting environment in baseball. There's a gigantic outfield. The weather and the elevation in Colorado, it's not quite warm to where we're getting the full Colorado effect right now, unfortunately. It's only 67 degrees. When it starts to get to like 90 degrees, Colorado, like the elevation in Colorado, the ball just flies out of there. But we're still looking at 10-mile-an-hour winds, 67 degrees, like pretty moderate. And we do still have all these ballpark factors, right? Doubles, singles, triples, home runs, average, on base, slugging are all just maxed. It's like we're putting in a cheat code here in a video game as far as this hitting environment. So, and then Ty Blatch is really bad, man. And the Rockies bullpen's bad. We can just address that right away. The Rockies have the second worst bullpen in the entire MLB with a 4.67 xFIP. They're terrible. The only bullpen that's worse is the Kansas City Royals with a 4.72 xFIP. So I'm always factoring this in as well, that bullpen data, right? And lastly, let's take a look at the direct matchup here, right? Ty Blatch is just not good. He doesn't strike anyone out. He's only got a 9.8% K rate to those right-handed bats. He's giving up a 420 WOBA. If you're a left-handed pitcher in Coors Field, that simply cannot strike anyone out, and you're giving up a ton of contact and hits. And then you have to take on JT Realmuto, who features a 180 ISO, 408 WOBA, 20.8% K rate over the season. Last 30 days is all the way up to a 2.8 ISO, 490 WOBA. He just hit a home run last night. Wouldn't be surprised in the least to see him do it here again. It's just off the charts as far as how this guy's mashing left-handed pitching, kind of like what we talked about with Marcell Ozuna at the top of the video. So, And then lastly, the stolen bases. He's another guy that hasn't quite got it going this year in the stolen base category, but we can take a look back to last year. Not gonna completely light the world on fire with the wheels, but he's only got 1 stolen base on the season so far. If we go back to 2023, he actually did up ending with 16 stolen bases. That's really solid at the catcher position, man. You're not gonna see that from a lot of other catchers. So we'll take every piece of edge we can get. It's a possibility we could see him swipe the bag. We'll take that. So for pick number 6, we're rocking with that over 9.0 hitter fantasy score. You should be able to lock every single one of these props in outside of the Seth Lugo pitching strikeouts, hopefully. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. Hopefully it gave you a little preview as to what goes into all my picks that led to that beautiful sweep that we had last night, guys. I'm looking to give this play out for free on the channel and help everybody win some money tonight in the MLB. I try to give as much free value as I can. And then, like I said, when I'm not able to produce content, when I'm traveling, which is going to be happening here shortly this next week, I am non-stop over in the Discord, in the VIP. $49.99 a month, $1.66 today. I already pulled up all the winners at the beginning of the video, so you get the drift. But goal is to provide a way more value than the cost tag of what you are paying. That way the clients are happy, I'm happy, everybody wins, we win together. So would love to have you join over there. If you enjoyed the content, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell on your way out the door. Wishing everybody the best of luck on your Prize Picks MLB player props tonight. And we will see you in the next one.